Okay, this lesson is all about introducing whoa to the dog. And I hate to say it that way because we are not going to use the command whoa. I personally don't like the command whoa. It sounds too much like no. This is I want you to introduce you to my human whoa post. We use a mechanical pinch collar, and if you use a standard whoa post, when the dog stops, they will stop with tension on the rope, which means they're still being pinched by the pinch collar. The advantage of a human whoa post is when Jennifer reads the dog as stopping, she will drop slack, which means the pinch collar is no longer pinching. I'm using a flexi lead, so you won't be able to read the rope on me, but you will be able to read the rope on Jennifer. Ash has never had any introduction to this at all. First time that they are exposed to this, it's not uncommon for the dog to get a little bit excited. And we're going to let her work her way through it. The idea is we are going to teach Ash to stand still. That's what whoa is all about. My command will be yip. That's just it. Yip. Nice and quiet. Doesn't sound like no. Shouldn't confuse the dog. So you're going to see the absolute introductory. Not only has Ash never seen this, but Jennifer's never seen this. Okay, why don't you clip onto her pinch collar, Jen? And then I'll give her about 20 feet or so. Now, as soon as I start to back away from her, she's going to come after me. I want you to stop her. And we will, the second she starts moving, we're going to start this exercise. Whoop. Yep. Quit chewing on that. She's biting on my leash. Whoop. I've used whoa for so many years, it's the first thing that comes out of my mouth. Okay, now Ash is settled down. She's not chewing on my leash anymore. Jennifer, I'm going to move to the sides. You may have to shorten up to do this, but as I move, I would like you to move in the opposite direction so that we keep the dog between us. Okay. Yep. 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 There. That's what we want. We want the dog on her feet. Now, Jennifer's corrections are going to be barely strong enough to stop this dog. We don't want to jerk on that pinch collar. We don't want to yank on it. We don't want to put the dog in a sit. You'll notice that we don't have a half hitch around the dog's waist, but we will do that if necessary. Boy, she's a quick steady, isn't she? I've never known a dog on a whoa post to figure this out this fast because a whoa post can't give slack. You can't argue with that. That dog understood within a couple of minutes of what she needed to do. Now I'm going to reward her and let her know this is what I want. And what I'm going to do, Jennifer, I'm going to walk her this way. This will give you an opportunity to shift over here, and we'll start this all over again. Now when I want the dog to move, I'm going to give her a tap on the head, just a fingertip touch, and an okay. Okay, come on. for the rest of this dog's life, that will be the cue for her to move. Ready, Jen? Yep. Boy, I tell you what, that's a quick study right there. This is so much more dog friendly than a whoa post. I guess we just might have to rename that, call it a smart post, huh? This dog is all about motion. And in 2 corrections, in 2 or 3 minutes, this dog has figured out she needs to stand still. Teaching a dog to stand still is all about teaching them not to move their feet. This has nothing to do with birds, nor should it have anything to do with birds till the dog is 90% through this thing. The last thing we would want to do is have the dog, go ahead and shift with me, Jen, is have the dog freak out and then associate that with birds. God, we wouldn't want that. We'll go a full 360, Jen. Now when I get around behind her here, she's going to turn around. If she turns and stops, gentle correction. If she turns and tries to go, a little firmer. Wow. This is the kind of response we like to see, and this is why I like to use a human whoa post, a smart post. Okay, now that she's down, we're just going to walk up here and correct the sit. Yep. That's a good girl. Now she doesn't know right from wrong here. She's doing what works. So if she were not to cooperate here, you would not want to get upset with the dog because she literally barely understands that she's supposed to stand still. This is no time to be losing control of your emotions. However, when you're training dogs, there is no time to be losing control of your emotions. A little tighter on that rope, Jan. Too much slack, you'll be late on your correction. There you go. Okay, I'm going to move her again. I'm going to take her out this way, okay? Okay, that's a good girl. Yep. Second she stops, give her slack. Just let that rope touch the ground. There you go. Perfect. Many of you may not be familiar with the Poodle Pointer breed. It is absolutely my favorite breed. Yep. Did you see how easy that works? She started to move. Jennifer stopped her. I vocalized the whoa command. She stopped and immediately achieved success. That made my problem go away, stopping. Yep. Yep. Good girl. That's a good girl, Ash. Yep. You see that little tug Jen just gave her? That's all it's needed. If I tried to do that with that rope tied to a whoa post, I'd have had to pull 3 or 4 times harder. And on a sensitive dog, a lot of them can't handle that very well. Okay, come on. Why don't you stay right there, Jen, let me work right around you. Here we go. Yep. Good girl. Boy, you couldn't ask for a sweeter, more dog-friendly lesson than that. For an introductory lesson, this is about as nice as they come. Hey, Jen, I'm going to walk her straight away from you. I want you to just let that rope slide through your hand. Okay? I'll give you a hand signal to stop her. Okay? Okay. That's a good girl. All right. Yep. Yep. Good girl. It's probably a good idea, being as how we're going to use a touch on the head to release the dog. When you pet her, don't pet her head. Stroke her shoulders. Yep. Okay, I'm going to walk her over that way. You can just stay right there. Okay, come on. Ready? Yep. I'm going to call that a lesson. Any other dog would start coming towards you. She understands she's not supposed to move. So we're going to end the lesson. But we're not going to give up control of the dog. Okay, we still have an e-collar on her. This is the gentlest way of teaching whoa that I've been able to come up with. It's dog friendly, user friendly,
Yeah.
and it's incredibly effective. I mean, it didn't take her 2 minutes to figure out that she was supposed to stand still.
Mm-hmm.
The normal syllabus working on whoa for your average pointing dog is several months before you introduce them, before you try to reinforce the whoa in the presence of birds. I intend to do that in 2 to 3 weeks without any confusion, without any fear. She should understand, and we're going to document every last bit of it. So.
That was nice.
All right, Ed.